Hello traders, my name is Tomasz Wiśniewski. I'm a chief analyst in Opari Research and Analysis, and this is daily analytical report. Let me show you the best trading setups right now on the market, but obviously we have to start with the calendar. And as we didn't have a webinar on Friday, I will tell you what happened on last Thursday and Friday. Because on Thursday we had a pack of data from Eurozone. On Friday we had a pack of data from Eurozone. As you can see, PMIs came much worse than expectations, and this dragged the euro lower. And at the same time, we had also retail sales from Canada, which came vastly below the expectations, and this also caused a reversal on the Canadian dollar, and even inflation did not. Inflation, which was slightly better than expectations, did not help much. Also, we get PMIs from US, which also came worse than expectations, but let's compare those values, like 47, 54. 44, 54. So that's a huge difference. That is why euro lost in value, American gained, and euro dollar erased all those gains that we had after Wednesday's FOMC. I will show you that a bit later. But if you're wondering why euro dollar is going lower despite the super dovish FOMC, that's the main reason for this. Yesterday we did not have any important events. Today the calendar is empty, but you need to know that we have an important development in the Brexit process, and this is that UK Parliament seized control of the Brexit process from Prime Minister Theresa May, and will now seek to decide how Britain exits the European Union, and the votings will take place on Wednesday. So they are in control of the Brexit process right now. So it starts again, but the thing is that pound does not care anymore. Pound does not care anymore about the headlines from Brexit. This information caused an upswing, but the volatility is really low. As this is our first meeting this week, we need to check the calendar for the forthcoming days, and you can see that overnight, well, early in the morning, late at night, tomorrow we'll have, actually tonight, we will have a rate decision statement from Reserve Bank of New Zealand, and that will be the most important event tomorrow. On Thursday, GDP from United States. On Friday, inflation from Japan, GDP from UK, and personal consumption expenditure PCE from United States, GDP from Canada. So we can see that this week can be pretty busy. Maybe not many tier 1 data, but still it looks okay. Obviously, what we have as a report from US about the no collusion from Donald Trump with Russia. That whole process was so stupid. I just can't believe that it was happening. Like Democrats saying that there was collusion, Republicans that there were no collusion. Actually, my comment on this, that Democrats made a huge favor for Donald Trump, so they made up a story which wasn't true. Well, if they were smart, they should know that it will backfire at them. There was no collusion, and Donald Trump will repeat that most probably at every occasion, blaming Democrats for false, fake statement, and I think he can gain few points thanks to this stupid story from Democrats. So that was absolutely stupid. Let's just use this word. Now let's not get into the politics any deeper and focus on markets. Euro dollar upswing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and now we are lower. This can be considered as a false breakout, also below those highs, but mainly above those highs, but also mainly above this downtrend line here. False breakouts usually bring us strong movement in the opposite direction. This is it. Small correction, in my opinion. This correction should end with a further downswing, aiming this horizontal support. This is my view on this instrument. That euro dollar should go lower and should aim the yellow support. Dollar index managed to defend the midterm uptrend lines here, managed to defend this horizontal support, so it's all good. We are still in the ascending triangle pattern, and ascending triangle should result with the upswing, because that's what ascending triangles do. They result with an upswing. So from this bounce we should see the contact with this horizontal resistance, the breakout upswing. American dollar to Swiss franc. This is interesting because we had this formation, like it's a descending triangle, but descending triangle really should be happening after a downswing. Here it happened after an upswing. Anyways, we had dynamic resistance, horizontal support, and the price broke this support and went lower. The thing is that this is a false breakout. A false breakout, as we said, is usually should trigger a strong movement in the opposite direction. It is giving that, but I think there is a place for more, so that is a proper buy signal on the Australian dollar to Swiss franc. Next one is euro to Canadian dollar. Here we need a bit bigger picture here. It was a nice setup before Friday. This Friday, as you can see, this drop in the value of euro after this terrible data, but then we have a recovery after the terrible data from Canada. That was a nice resistance. It is no longer a nice resistance. So the price is just moving sideways. There's nothing interesting here, so time to remove this instrument. As you can see, that's a valuable lesson, because that shows you that you do not have to stick to one instrument if you do not see any interesting setup on this instrument. Only the fact that it gave you profits, for example, last week or 2 weeks ago, that does not mean that you should stick to this instrument. You just can forget about this. Euro to Russian ruble continues the decline after breaking this major horizontal support. The aim is here, slightly above 71 rubles for $1. New Zealand dollar to Canadian dollar. Here we start this those instruments that I mentioned on the Trading Sniper video, and this is one of the best setups here. So first we need to see the big picture on a weekly chart, New Zealand dollar to Canadian dollar. Why we need to see the big picture? Because here the price broke the long-term downtrend line here, which connects the lower highs from 2016. Last week we broke this downtrend line, but wait, there is more, because that's an inverse and shoulder pattern, left shoulder, head and right shoulder, price breaks the neckline. So here last week and this week we had a breakout of the dynamic resistance and horizontal resistance, which is absolutely awesome. On a short-term chart you see how the price respected those levels. We can even do something like this. Okay, here it's too far, let's do like this. We can, yes, It is narrow now. This is resistance, broken resistance becomes support. Now we have a decline, which also is an occasion to go long here. Maybe not now, maybe it would be much better to wait for the contact with this line again. But the long-term setup on this instrument, on the New Zealand dollar to Canadian dollar, is positive. Now American dollar to Japanese yen. Here, since the last week, we do have a proper sell signal. The sell signal was triggered by the fact that the price broke the lower line of the flag and the lower line of the symmetric triangle pattern here. Boom. That is a proper sell signal drop. And then we do have a horizontal support, then a small reversal, breakout, and this support is now being tested as a resistance, and actually this resistance is an upper line of the rectangle pattern. This is a lower line of the rectangle pattern. So this is basically a sideways movement for the past 2 days, let's say. And how everybody in the world most probably will trade it, will be buying when the price will break this upper line, and selling when the price will break this lower line. So this is the approach for the American dollar to Japanese yen. Now Bitcoin. Bitcoin is almost forgotten instrument, but there was an interesting development recently. So look what happened. The price made a contact with long-term downtrend line, which is with us since February 2018, so for more than a year. And we had a contact also with the upper line of the symmetric triangle pattern, and this contact was positive for the sellers, so negative for the buyers, was good for bears, and the price bounced from those resistances. Two dynamic resistances here. This opens us the way towards the lower line of the symmetric triangle, and breakout of the lower line of the symmetric triangle should drive the price below $3,000 for one Bitcoin. So to the orange support. Orange support, why is it here? Because it was important in 2017, as you can see here in the middle of 2017, in June and September. First resistance, then support. But obviously buyers will try to break this resistance because they know that it's an awesome chance for them, and the breakout of those two resistances can drive the price towards $6,000 for one Bitcoin. $6,000 was an ultimate support for such a long time, and the breakout of those two dynamic resistances will open us a way towards that one. Now American dollar to Canadian dollar. Here situation is optimistic. What we had is that's also a daily chart, so a long-term one. We had the investment and shoulder formation, price bounced from the long-term uptrend line, broke the neckline. Then the neckline was tested as a support, and then we got another upswing. Now we do have a small correction, but I don't think it's significant. I think that the long-term buy signal is on, and we should see the price going higher and higher and higher. Australian dollar to American dollar. This is kind of a roller coaster because here we had a false breakout from the flag, which resulted with a nice upswing. Then this upswing got rejected. That was FOMC, and got rejected, cancelled, erased, and that created false breakout too, which should result with a strong drop, but it didn't. And you can see that the price managed to establish new dynamic support, more accurate one, here and here and here. And what we still have a chance here for the head and shoulder pattern, so left shoulder, head and right shoulder. So breakout of the yellow area in this case will be super important, will be crucial, for the sellers, but as long as we stay above the orange support, I think that the sentiment is more or less positive. Mostly because we failed to break the support. I was yesterday. I wrote an analysis about this, and I said that the breakout here will bring us a sell signal. If we don't have a breakout, we don't have a sell signal. So that's pretty much it. Now American dollar to Russian ruble. So on this instrument we have this horizontal resistance, then support, and now it's resistance back again. And as long as we stay below the orange area, we do have a strong sell signal on the American dollar to Russian ruble. Also, I would like to show you the crude, because crude had a huge reversal on Friday but is recovering. And now we may think about the head and shoulder pattern, but the head and shoulder pattern will be present here when the price will break the orange support. That's pretty easy. There is no reason to go into details here. As long as the price is staying above the orange area, there is a buy signal. The breakout of the orange support, orange horizontal support, will give us a sell signal. Those were the instruments I prepared for you actually from the last week. Now I would like to show this cable, because I said that cable did not move much after this information. You can see last 2 days, here yesterday, today, sideways trend, the volatility, the daily change from tomorrow is 80 pips, which will 86, which for cable is really nothing. It is totally nothing. Cable just don't care about those Brexit news anymore. It changes so quickly, and those news are sometimes irrelevant and just stupid, and they don't last even 5 minutes. So that's why we are in a sideways trend. That's a symmetric triangle. Price closing a day above the orange area, that will be a buy signal. Price closing a day below the orange area will be a sell signal. Also, last but not least, let's check DAX. On the DAX, we do have a small drop, and this small drop, as you can see, what I wanted to show you is this. We can make it a bit wider, why not? Horizontal resistance after the breakout, support, support, support. After the breakout, resistance, resistance, resistance. So as long as we stay below the orange area, there is a proper sell signal on the German index on DAX. Let's use this opportunity to check the S&P 500. Here we also do have a correction. Here we also do have this battle on the horizontal resistance, which I would say it's kind of like this wide area here. Actually, it even started here. We are also below the horizontal resistance. That's a double top formation. It does not look good, but it does not look terrible either. If I had to guess, on the daily chart, nice bearish engulfing. Bearish engulfing should result with a strong drop. So daily candlestick is dangerous for the sellers. Okay, let's use H4. Obviously, double top formation. I guess, strong guess, that there is a divergence here, okay, because divergence are usually present in such situations. So let's check MACD. There is obviously a divergence here, so maybe let me change the color. Yes, we can see this better. Higher high, lower high, divergence, sell signal, boom. Interesting. We will see how the situation will develop, but it's definitely something to look at in the next few days. Let me recap the situation for you now. Euro dollar, in my opinion, that's a sell signal, and we should see the further decline. On the dollar index, it looks positive. Australian dollar, Swiss franc positive after the false breakout. Euro Russian ruble negative still. New Zealand dollar to Canadian dollar long-term buy signal. American dollar to Japanese yen. As long as we stay inside the rectangle, there is nothing, but we should wait for the breakout. Bitcoin sell, American dollar to Canadian dollar buy, Australian dollar to American dollar nothing, American dollar Russian ruble, that is rather long-term sell. Oil still buy, but breakout of the orange area will give us sell. Cable nothing, symmetric triangle, they don't care about the Brexit news. Breakout of the upper line buy, breakout of the lower line sell. And DAX, this is a sell as long as we stay below the orange area, and S&P 500, this is also sell as long as we stay below the orange area. So that was the daily analytical report, guys. Thanks very much for watching us, and now a short break, and after that an educational webinar with Valpari, and I hope you will all attend that one as well. Thanks very much, guys, and see you later. Goodbye.